Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the rest of the year. We're going to do something a little different here. Each row is going to represent something different, and I will say what at the top of each row. Your first row is going to represent what is being revealed to you at this time. You have this delight card and this flexibility card. So I think you need to bring more happiness into your life. If you have the sun in that delight card, the delight card is just about enjoying life, doing more things that bring you joy. And the sun is the same way. Obviously, you're probably going to have to be flexible to make that happen with the flexibility card. The other thing about the sun is that kind of what's popping into my head here is that he has this wall behind him, and this little child or baby on the sun card. And the wall represents the wall we all put up against our inner child. So sometimes the sun can represent needing to, open up to your inner child, needing to go do things that you used to do that used to bring you joy, all that other good stuff. So that's what I would do there. You have the sun, the Three of Swords, and the Lovers. A lot of you could also just be revealing yourself to the world. Like if you have been building a new self for yourself, the sun can represent attention on you. And it's also interesting we have the world, because the world can also be how you stand out in the world, or how the world sees you here, Scorpio. So I think it would be a great time, like if there's anything you want to reveal to the world, like a project you've been working on, yourself, if you've been working on yourself, things like that, then it might be a really good time to, again, show those, whatever you want to show off with these cards. On top of all that, you also have the Eight of Wands in this reading. The sun in the Eight of Wands to me represents simplification. And 2025, I literally said at the beginning of the year that it would be a year of simplification and efficiency as well, right? So anything we're working on, we shouldn't be thinking, how can I work hard on this? We should be thinking, how can I work efficiently on this, whatever it is you're creating. And if you come at things from an efficient perspective, then it'll definitely make your life better. So that is also something I would focus on with the Sun card. You have the Three of Swords. Three of Swords can represent a separation, sadness, but it's also a card of forgiveness. I feel like with the Sun as well, you could be being shown like what to heal at this time, or you could be understanding how to heal something at this time. So I actually feel pretty good about this Three of Swords. It is kind of weird. At the end of the year here, we've been getting the Three of Swords a lot. Like since maybe September, the Three of Swords has been coming up for like everybody. And I will say we have the South Node in Virgo. We just had that eclipse in Virgo as well. We're going to have a bunch of eclipses in Virgo. We're actually in the Pisces-Virgo eclipse cycle, which will end in 2027. The last Virgo eclipse we'll have is in March of 2027. And so between now and then, pretty much all of us will be going through healings. And but again, the good thing is obviously if you have a wound that you can't see, then you can't fix it. And what's being revealed here is probably like some sort of wound. It could be in love with the Lovers, of course. I don't think that's it though. Just intuitively I feel this is probably, like this could be something that helps you heal love, but I think it's much bigger picture than that. I think you're healing more than just love, right? But there also could be love coming in for you, and that could absolutely be being revealed to you at this time, that there is a connection that could be coming in. And so if you want love, I would put yourself out there. I'm getting a million things in your first row here if you can't tell, because I think you could be getting a crap ton of answers here at the end of the year, Scorpio. Just that's what it feels like to me. You have the Eight of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. These are all very strong communication cards, but that can also kind of represent answers. The other thing that's popping into my head here is if you've been trying to make a decision in any area of your life, the universe could be like pointing you in a direction. The sun is like a spotlight in a reading. It can shine a light on something that we definitely need to pay attention to. So I would be paying attention to your attention. Your attention could literally just be on something, and it could help you make a choice if you're struggling to make any choices, decisions, or if you're struggling to move in a new direction. Let's see. With the sun, you have the Two of Wands. Yep, it's funny that you have the World, because the Two of Wands, he's holding on to the world. The Two of Wands represents getting out into the world. I will say all three water signs had something very similar. This message about getting out into the world. again, it makes sense to me because Neptune has been in Pisces for a long time, Saturn's in Pisces. As I've said to you before, Scorpio, I think it's time for water signs to shine. It is time for, water signs have been through what everybody is about to go through. It's time. Water signs are, I believe, like the leaders of the future. And, water signs are going to show people how to not have to suffer, right? And so it's like time for you to be a living example to other people. And you could be realizing that. And you could be becoming a leader. Two of Wands is taking the lead, so makes sense. With the Three of Swords, you have the Chariot. Yeah, pretty good. Could be charging away from Three of Swords energy. The Chariot is a victory or a success coming in for you. It's also about getting into alignment. And of course, the more we heal, the more aligned we are. So I think if you are going through healing, it is probably bringing you into alignment with whatever it is that you want. You have the, again, world right here. So this could represent you getting into alignment with like an accomplishment, an achievement, a goal. And healing could have you getting here much faster, which is great. With the Lovers, you have the Seven of Wands. I thought you had this twice for some reason, but you don't. Never mind. I'm making that up in my head. But yeah, the Seven of Wands can be a card of boundaries and drawing a line in the sand. Sometimes I feel the Seven of Swords can say that we feel like we're not ready for something, but we're pretty much as ready as we're going to be. So he has like a shoe and a boot on his feet here. The story of the card is that he feels like he had to rush out of his home and he feels like he wasn't ready, but really he's as ready as he's going to be. So it can say that, yeah, maybe you feel like you're not ready, but really you are. So if there's anything you want, or if you're trying to make a decision, I feel like what's being revealed to you at this time is kind of that you are more ready than you think. In your next row to what's been kept hidden at this time, you have this release card and this immerse card. You are clearly releasing something, Three of Swords and the Chariot. And the immerse card is, I don't really think anything's been kept hidden, but I feel like you are discovering more information. I'm pretty sure that I said this to you recently because I was talking about your ruling planet, Pluto, being retrograde, and now Pluto is direct. When Pluto goes retrograde, it makes us go deep into something. Immerse. When you immerse yourself into something, you're going deep into it, and you're exploring like a topic or an idea or a subject in your life. And, one thing, before I babble too much here, Scorpio, one thing I will say is I think for the next several years at least, until like 2028, somewhere around there, if we're going to do something, we have to go deep. We have to like really research it. We have to learn the ins and outs, and we really have to do it. There is no trying right now. That's not true, but what I would say is like if we're going to do something, we have to do it. We have to commit to it and just say, I'm going to make this happen no matter what, right? We need to have that level of attitude. And if we immerse ourselves in the subject, whatever it is we're trying to do or learn about, then we'll be successful. But I think you have been immersing yourself because of Pluto retrograde, and you could be finally like coming back up to the surface, catching a breath. And maybe that's what's happening. And you could be, I think what this is doing is it's giving you more skills. You have the Magician, the World, and the Queen of Wands. The Magician has mastery over all the suits in the tarot here. These are all the ace versions of those suits. And so he can pick what tool he wants to use for the job, and that can make him very successful with whatever it is that he's trying to accomplish. So I kind of feel like you've learned how to use a bunch of tools, and now you could be using those tools. The other funny thing about this card is that, again, this row is meant to represent what's been kept hidden. You could be reinventing yourself, and maybe you have been keeping parts of yourself hidden for a while, and the sun can right next to this could also say you are now revealing those hidden parts of yourself. It's not like maybe we all kind of keep things hidden from time to time. I just feel maybe you're revealing a little bit more of yourself to the world here with the World card, and this is a good thing. Again, you are clearly meant to be a leader with that Two of Wands at this time, and so when you reveal those hidden parts of yourself, then you can take the lead in the world, and it can help you create your own reality. The world really is a card of creating your own reality. This woman here is like a sorceress. She has these two wands. One wand is like the Magician's wand. She can manifest by, being in alignment. She can use her powers of manifestation and her intuition and stuff. The other wand is like a physical wand. She can actually physically create things that she wants to create in her world. But she doesn't use one or the other. She uses both action and manifestation. She mixes the two things together. And that's what I would be doing if I were you, Scorpio, is, mixing those two skills together so that you can create the world you want to live in. I also feel that you are getting very close to a goal. Like I said, it just seems to me like there's some sort of decision here that's going to help you accomplish a goal. And I feel that, whatever, it's like the decision is being revealed with the sun or something like that. You have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. She has this black cat right here. And the black cat, during the times of tarot, black cats were considered very unlucky. But the whole point of the card is she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She just likes her black cat. So the card itself can be about doing things that you want to do in life and not caring what other people think. And that definitely could be some things that you've kept hidden from people in your life, like some things you want to do with your life or your plans or your goals or your wishes. I think you're just not caring as much anymore, about what people say, which is good. You're taking your power back with this Queen of Wands energy. With the Magician, you have the Moon. The Moon can still represent some illusions. At the end of the year here, there are still some illusions around us because of Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is a little bit confusing. I don't even think Neptune rules Pisces like most people say it does. I think Jupiter rules Pisces as far as I'm concerned. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. I've studied a million Pisces charts, and I can see how Jupiter rules every one of those charts, basically. And so I think Neptune and Pisces is still confusing for water signs just in general, mostly because we don't know what's real, what's not. The other problem with it is we have to explore. We have to explore things. Sometimes when you explore an illusion, it dissolves right before your eyes. Sometimes it doesn't. And that is the challenge with Neptune and Pisces is that, some things that we want in life we discover are just fantasy. Some things in life that we want we discover are a reality. And, but the problem is the fear, because it's usually I think what happens with Neptune and Pisces is we explore some fantasies that fall apart, and it makes us afraid to explore new ones. This is why in the 2025 readings at the beginning of the year, I said that, really we're in a time where fortune favors the bold. We have to be like adventurers. We're looking for some sort of lost city of gold right now, all of us. And, we have to be brave enough to go on that adventure to find it. And, I feel like that's what this card is saying. With the World, you have the Four of Wands. I think this is just your commitment. Four of Wands can be marriage. And, these readings aren't really meant to be love readings. But sure, there could be love coming in for you. I think this is more about you committing to something on a very deep level. You have that Immerse card, which says if you're going to do something, you have to go all the way. You have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is very simple. Eight of Wands is picking a point out in the world, and all those wands are going to that one point. They are not going anywhere else. We cannot pull in two directions with the Eight of Wands. We have to go only in one direction. And so this is about, it's sometimes we have to face that fear of committing to something for a long time. And the risk is that it doesn't work, right? And I kind of feel that with the Moon card for you, Scorpio, that you're getting an opportunity here to work on something. It looks like something that will be a significant, goal or accomplishment for you. But I think the fear is what if I work on this thing for a long time and it doesn't work, right? But clearly it's going to. So I think you need to do it, whatever this is. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is about work hard, play hard. Yeah, maybe I think this will continue for you for a couple of years here. Needing to balance the two sides out and needing to make sure you're not burning yourself out in general. So yeah, I would just make sure that you're not burning yourself out over the next couple of years. Even though this reading is for the end of the year, I would say from now until 2027, 2028, I would balance your energy. Next, we're going to look at the adventure the universe is sending you on right now. You have this opposition card. It says confrontation. You have this debilitated card. It says discomfort on it. I think you need to confront the discomfort of committing to something for a long time that has the risk of not working, like I said. But really this is true for everything in life, is that everything we do has the risk of not working. And, we just have to take that risk. Anyone who's done anything great has, taken that risk. And I feel that's what this is saying. Definitely let me know what you think of this style of reading. Leave me a comment. drop a like, really helps me out, Scorpio. But also in this row, you have the Eight of Wands, the Devil, and the Ace of Swords. Again, the Eight of Wands is pretty good because it just says pick a point that you want to work towards and just work towards it no matter what. I kind of feel for you fixed signs, you being one of them, Scorpio, that part of the challenge right now is South Node in Virgo. Now, we won't have South Node in Virgo for too much longer, but what I will say is like the challenge is dealing with messiness and messy energy. If you notice, these wands are all in a different position on the card. So the Eight of Wands can say we want to go accomplish something in the world. But those wands are in different positions, meaning that things are going to happen in a different order. So if you are setting out to accomplish a goal at this time and you think it has to go this way, this way, this way, probably not, right? The Eight of Wands is about sometimes getting comfortable with things happening in a different order or, in a different way than you expect. And just because things are happening in a different order doesn't mean it's not working. And so I really feel like a major message here in this reading is to stick with something, no matter what, that you definitely want to be doing. And if you do that, then it will be successful, but it just might go differently than you think, and that's okay. So I would really pay attention to that. You have the Devil. Everybody's had the Devil so far. It's kind of weird. I think the Devil really started coming up a lot this year at the end of September. And so a lot of us seem to be being asked to release things that no longer serve us or release things that have been keeping us stuck. Again, this row we're asking, the universe is telling you let's start over. This row is meant to represent the adventure the universe is sending you on. I have to look at my list here. And so, I think the universe could be sending you on the adventure of, exceeding your limitations or blowing past limitations. The Devil can just be a stuck energy. We can be stuck to some sort of limitation or responsibility or obligation in life. And I feel the universe is asking you to set yourself free from things that steal energy from you. And that can definitely be an adventure for sure. You have the Ace of Swords, which is like a victory. The Ace of Swords is also an adventure because the sword is above these mountains. Climbing a mountain is an adventure. So I think a lot of you are being asked to overcome some obstacles. You have the Chariot. Sometimes I think the Chariot is about charging through an obstacle. Yeah, sure, there are obstacles, but how can you just blast right through it, right? And the Ace of Swords is somewhat similar. The Ace of Swords wants us to just blast, chop right through something. I also think you could be taking the risk of cutting some things out of your life. The Ace of Swords cuts both ways. And sometimes we can have something that we think we need that's actually toxic in our lives with the Devil. And by removing those things, then, we can have something better. I also think the other challenge for water signs I definitely feel is that Neptune and Pisces. Which we've already talked about, but in a different way. Sometimes with Neptune and Pisces, I think we can have things that we think are part of our identity or make us who we are, but really they're just a fantasy that is dissolving, and those things we have to cut out. Usually these can be material things, things that you own, things that you think you need, whatever, the latest and greatest shirt from the latest and greatest designer, things like that. And so Neptune and Pisces can strip those things away that we think we need. And, it's really about becoming confident in yourself, especially with this Queen of Wands. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Temperance card. This is a go for it type energy. Temperance, sometimes I feel, is trying to make something perfect. He's pouring these two cups together, trying to turn water into wine. But this path right here is called the path to glory, and he could easily just go for it. He could just get started, and I feel like the universe is encouraging you to just go for it. With the Devil, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, this is about putting up boundaries. This has been a long-term theme for you, Scorpio, that a lot of you are putting up boundaries due to other people's responsibilities. I think, I've definitely said to you this year that it seems to me like Scorpio is dealing with people who are putting their responsibilities onto you. And I think you are learning to say no. It's just that simple. And yeah, that can be a little bit of an adventure, right? When we start saying no to people, especially if you're, I think a lot of spiritual people say yes too much anyway. So when you start saying no, people are going to be like, who the hell are you? Saying no to me all of a sudden. So, that could be an adventure. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. Yeah, finding people who really support you. Three of Cups is concentrated connections. It is people who really, really support you and support your vision even as well in life. It's the people who are happy for you when you have a harvest. They're celebrating a harvest going on around them. And so finding those people could be an adventure. It could be something you're doing. Next, we're going to look at what pattern do you need to release at this time. Here you go. You have this Pisces card. It says boundaries. It says set and honor your boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. It's a 2-letter word. No is what you need to learn. You have this divine intervention card. It says angels are working behind the scenes to assist in the miracles you've requested. Again, I think this is tied to the whole immerse, going deep type of energy for you, Scorpio, where you are needing to trust that you're being led in a direction for a reason. And, it's like sometimes we can't always see where we're going. But, trusting that we're going in the right direction can be hard, but also can be the thing that we need to do. And I think the universe is trying to get you to trust your guides. You have the Knight of Wands, the Six of Swords, and the Hangman. The Knight of Wands is a trust in the adventure, right? The Knight of Wands is about embracing mystery. He has these 3 pyramids behind him that represent mystery, and he's just like, he wants something, and he doesn't care how he gets it. He's just willing to go and explore. I always say he's like the true builder in the tarot. If he doesn't have something he needs, or if he doesn't know how to do something, he's willing to build what he needs as he goes. And so a lot of you could be in this position where you're having to build as you go. And I think it's almost like embracing the unknown. It's like, obviously you might not know what you need to accomplish something you're trying to accomplish. But the Magician says you have all the tools necessary. So, I think it's about trusting the journey. You have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores. I think you are ending a big pattern or, some sort of cycle here with the Devil. And so it's not like something specific. It's more like you are just moving on to calmer shores, or you are, cutting out the crap here, Scorpio, in your life. And you are being guided. This guy in the back of the boat, he is a guide. This is sometimes about like trusting your feelings. It's like sometimes we can feel something that we should move on from a job or a position or something else in our life, but we can't really maybe express like why we feel like we should move on. And that is sometimes the Six of Swords. Like we're being guided and we just don't know. And so I feel like you're moving on. You have the Hangman. Again, another card of the universe asking you to trust what you know. He's put himself in Hangman mode. He's hanging from the Tree of Knowledge and Wisdom, and his head is glowing. And the glowing head represents him needing to trust in enlightenment. He has received the answers he needs, and he just needs to trust his inner knowingness. And I feel like that maybe is what the universe is trying to get you to do here. With the Knight of Wands, sure, we'll take both. You have the Star and the Ace of Pentacles, so that's amazing. The Star is your North Star. It is your guiding light. It is that one thing that you want to set out and accomplish. The Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity, but, I think this is like, the universe trying to get you to trust the unknown. Like I said, the Ace of Pentacles requires nurturing. We don't know what we're going to get from the Ace of Pentacles, because the Ace of Pentacles is an opportunity that has potential, but it's almost like the universe is trying to get you to believe in your unlimited potential. It's kind of a mind effer, I guess, Scorpio, because it's like the Ace of Pentacles, it's like there are no limits to what you could get from an opportunity. The only limitation is what you think. So any opportunities you're getting, I would say I'm going to make this 1,000 times better, because even if you only make it 100 times better, that's still 100 times better than what you wanted, right? So sometimes I think we have to really shoot for the stars, and I think that's what the universe wants. With the Six of Swords, you have the Page of Swords. I think this is about allowing things to die, is really what I'm getting. Because the Page of Swords is looking back on the Devil. And sometimes I think there is no good reason for things to happen, right? It's like, I can't tell you, over the years, I've had so many people who ask me why did this person leave me? Or why did this thing happen to me in my life? And I'm not saying that we don't deserve closure or anything like that, but sometimes I think it's better to just say, that's dead. That is no longer a part of my life. I'm going to move forward. I just see it where people spend a lot of time thinking about why something happened when they could just move forward. And for whatever reason, that's the message I'm getting there. Mostly with these cards here, that just learning to allow things to go, just learning to let go might be what the universe wants. With the Hangman, you have the Eight of Swords. It's like needing to not be ready for things, right? Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, but I also think the pattern that the universe is trying to get you to break here is needing things to be perfect before you get started. That's what's popping into my head. Again, I know that's not what this represents, but I read intuitively, and that's the message I'm getting, is that you're like releasing, the need to be ready, if that makes sense. Next, in the area of, what ridiculous goal should you pursue at this time? You have this Success and Triumph card. It says, nothing will be able to get in your way. You will surely come out on top. You have this Angels are watching. The whole entire reading basically said this. There's nothing to worry about. Angels are watching over you. You are being guided. Six of Swords, plus whatever this other card was. So I think you need to trust that you are being guided at this time. You have the Page of Wands, the Five of Swords, Four of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. The Page of Wands would be about following your optimism and enthusiasm. So I think the goal you should go for is true happiness in life and true fulfillment with the Page of Wands. You have the Five of Swords and the Four of Swords, probably something you've been praying for. The Five of Swords can be about taking a risk. And the Four of Swords, this guy here is hoping and praying for a blessing. And there's actually a person blessing another person right here in this stained glass window. So I feel like you already know what your goal is at the end of the year here. And you already have been asking and praying for something. And, that's what the universe wants you to go and accomplish. You have the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. It's almost like a clean slate type energy that I get off of this reading. Even the Six of Swords is kind of my card of going back to the drawing board. I don't necessarily feel that for you. It's more like a blank canvas feeling where with the world, you have the opportunity to create your own reality right now. And the Ace of Wands is your paintbrush. The Ace of Wands is about, the spark of hope, the spark of inspiration. And sometimes it's just a spark. We have to, build the fire with the Ace of Wands to get it to grow. And so I think for a lot of you that, is this really a challenge? And maybe a little bit, because I think a lot of you have ideas or you're being inspired right now to work on something in your life. But, realizing how much potential something has maybe is a little bit of a challenge for you, Scorpio. And I think that's what you need to realize, right? So let's see. With the Page of Wands, you have the Four of Cups. Yep, makes perfect sense. I definitely feel you are one of the signs that has experienced too many disappointments. I think I kind of said this earlier, that with Neptune and Pisces, it's like if you go after too many things that turn out to be an illusion, it can be hard to start again. It can be hard to say, like, I'm going to give this another chance, or I'm going to try that business idea that didn't work out 20 other times again. And so, part of me feels this reading is like a don't give up now type of reading. It's like saying you've collected all this knowledge, hangman. You've collected all this information, and you're very close, but you do have to try something again. With the Four of Swords and the Five of Swords, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Everything you want and desire. Yeah, with Uranus next month in November is going to retrograde back into Taurus. Uranus and Taurus, for you fixed signs, and Taurus is your opposite sign, Scorpio, is definitely going to trigger you to work towards building and leaving a legacy. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. And it doesn't mean you'll have everything you want and desire, but, the universe wants you to work towards having it all. And so I think a lot of you are kind of being asked to go try and create your ultimate vision for your life. And yeah, maybe it's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. So I would definitely do that with the Ten of Pentacles for sure. With the Ace of Wands, you have the High Priestess. Yeah, I really think you already have something in mind that, that you would be really, really happy to accomplish by the end of the year, And it's like maybe you feel like you've done nothing all year. And yeah, I know we only have like 2 more months basically in this year, but I really think you have the opportunity to accomplish a lot. The High Priestess, she has no roof over her head. And, the card itself represents unlimited potential, just like the Ace of Pentacles. So I think you need to take your wildest dreams, like multiply them by 1,000, and see what you can do. Because I think it'll be a lot more than you think, right? It's like there's a lot more going on here. I think you need to trust your intuition as well. Clearly you're being guided at this time by like everything, sign symbols, synchronicities, intuition, your inner voice, your guides, your mentors, whatever you believe in. So I think you need to tap into that resource as well with the High Priestess, because it'll probably help you out a lot. But this is one heck of a reading here, Scorpio. Definitely leave a comment, really helps me out, and enjoy the rest of your year.